Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for this look right here. It's a one brand tutorial inspired by Wet n Wild's release of their limited edition collection, the Midnight Mermaid. I used a couple products from the Midnight Mermaid collection, but other than that, every single item, including the brushes that I use in this tutorial, are from Wet n Wild. This is not a sponsored video, but I think Wet n Wild is an amazing company with great standards, and they're fairly cheap, not in quality, but in price. So if you guys find that you really want some products in this video, I highly advise you run out and get them because they're not too expensive and they won't break the bank. I myself am a baller on a budget, as Katie likes to put it. So gathering all of these products for this one brand tutorial was not that hard for me. This wig is from trendywigs.com and I'm honestly looking forward to taking it off because it is hot as balls and I'm just sweating right now. If you guys are interested in creating this look, then just keep watching. I've already washed and moisturized my face, and then to prime, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photofocus primer. I used to use the Cover FX Mattifying Anti-Acne Primer, but to be honest, this one works just as well, if not better. I've not had any issues with this primer breaking me out. While that's setting in, I'm going to take my hair back with this cute Manda Bees headband that I got from Etsy. I think I kind of look like a pirate, just keeping with the nautical theme. For foundation, I'm using the Photofocus foundation in the shade Nude Ivory, and I'm taking the flat top brush and blending that out. For under eye concealer, I'm just using the concealer stick in Nude for Thought, and then once again I'm going to be going in with the flat top brush. I'm going to be pinching it a little bit to get more precise blending. To set that, I am going to be using the Mattifying Powder with the actual foundation brush from Wet n Wild, patting that underneath my eyes. For the rest of my blemishes, I'm just going to be using the Photofocus concealer in the shade Light Ivory. I love this shit. It is so good. It covers up really well, blends out like a dream, and lasts all day. And then to just blend that out, I'm patting the edges with the large concealer brush. To set the entirety of my face, I'm using the pressed powder in the shade Warm Light. I press this on my face with the powder puff that came with a mattifying powder, and then I'll go through the rest of my face with the powder brush. For contour, I use, of course, the Megaglo contouring palette, and unfortunately I dropped this, so it shattered right beforehand, but luckily it was just the light shade, which I don't use much anyway. This is in the shade Dulce de Leche, and to contour, I just use the contour brush for its intended purpose. Bronzer in the shade Reserve Your Cabana. Once again, using that foundation brush. Then, for blush, I use the Icon blush in the shade Rosé Champagne, just applying this to the apples of my cheeks using the blush brush. For a more intense highlight, I'm going to be using the Megaglo highlighter in the shade Blossom Glow and the fan brush. I even brushed this on my clavicles and my shoulders, but I'm really pale, so it didn't really show up. I might even have to use an icier shade. For eyebrows, I'm using the Ultimate Brow Kit in the shade Ash Brown with just the angled liner brush, starting with the lighter shade on the first half of my brows and the darker shade on the latter half. set my brows into place, I use the brow mascara in the shade Brunette. This shit is bomb. If you're having a no makeup day, I'd even recommend using this or, you know, your shade on its own without any powder underneath. It fills it in so nicely. Unveiling my hair, because it's wet and I didn't want it to dent it too much. I'm going to be cleaning up the brows with the Ultimate Brow Highlighter. And this stuff is creamy, but it sets pretty fast, so I recommend blending it out eyebrow by eyebrow using the large concealer brush. Now we're moving on to eyes. Using the Photofocus eyeshadow primer, this shit is bomb as fuck. It keeps my shadows strong all day. I'm going to be setting that using one of the palest shades in the Coming in Latte palette and using the large shadow brush. Moving on to actual colors, this is the Poster Child palette, and with the much loved crease brush that I have here, I'm going to be taking that pink shade and just putting that into my crease. Then going in with the middle blue shade here, and once again a large shadow brush, I'm going to be patting that on the entirety of my lid, focusing it on the inner corners. With the darkest shade here, I'm going to be using the brush that came with the Coming in Latte palette and just using this on the inner corners of my eyes. You can see I was a bit messy with the application, so it started to get down on my lower lash line as well. And then I just blend all the colors out once again with their respective brushes. Going in with the first product from the Midnight Mermaid collection, I take the liquid shadow in the shade Aquatic Prism and put that in my corners. I blend that out right away because these will set and are immovable if they dry down. To accent the inner corner there, because the blue spilled over anyway, I'm going to be using the On Edge liner in Sapphire and Ice, and this shit is really creamy. It's a super nice liner and lasts all day. I put in a cut crease using the Photofocus concealer and the angled liner brush, and then just did a couple coats so it was even and covered pretty well. For a brow bone highlight, I go in with the Megaglo highlighter in Blossom Glow once again. And then for that cut crease, I use this nice gold shade from the Coming in Latte palette, just putting that on with the angled brush again. Using the top blue shade, I'm going to be blending out the lower lash line with that large shadow brush. You can see here that I'm even sweeping it to the end of my eye socket, so it almost meets my brow. Using the Wet n Wild liquid mega liner in the shade Voltage Blue, I start to put on winged liner. I was really inspired with how the liquid shadow had laid down on my eyes with my lashes kind of pressed against it, so it left these lines. So I sort of just started to accent that with this liner, and I think it kind of replicates the idea of a mermaid fin. I thought this fit really well with the look. You can just see that I'm going line by line and then evening them out. The applicator on this is pretty precise and really nice as well. And then just replicating that on the other side. Taking the waterproof liquid liner in black, I just put this on my lash lines so it helps hide the appearance of the false lashes. Once again, taking that Ultimate Brow Highlighter, I put this in my waterline to brighten up my eyes, and I set that with the highlighter. For top lashes, I use the Lash Renegade, which is a super nice formula and a nicely shaped mascara brush. And then for lower lashes, of course, I have to use the Mega Length mascara. The lipstick that I'm going to be using, I felt had a purple undertone once I swatched it, so I kind of wanted to mitigate that. So I use this as a liner. You could probably wear this as on its own as a lipstick if you put a gloss over it. Here I'm taking another item from the Midnight Mermaid collection, and this is the Liquid Catsuit Lipstick in Sea Seduction. You can even see that some of the blue eyeliner was left on my Cupid's bow, and I thought it gave it a nice touch. To top off the eyes, I'm going to be using the lashes in the style Shuttershock. And then I popped on my wig. I honestly should have done the scales before I put on my wig because it left a weird line, but you live and you learn. As for the process with the scales, it is fairly simple. I use the on-edge liner to mark out where I'd like the scales to be. Then I fill that in with a couple shadows using the 2 darker blue shades from this palette and a small shadow brush. And then I top off the edges with the liquid shadow in the shade Aquatic Prism, blend those out one by one, and then reline where it's necessary.
There's my little cattail. Hi, Odessa.
Once that's all done, I go in and contour with the black shade from the Coming in Latte palette and the contour brush. I felt that looked a little artificial, so then I did decide to do some spaced out scales using the same process over and over again. For some reason, on that one scale up on the right side of my forehead, the liquid shadow did not want to stick. I don't know if it was because it was blended on top of powder, which is weird because it blended well on my eyes just fine. So you'll see me go in with just some dark shadow and filling that in once everything's dried down. If you saw the scales on the back of my hand, I did those ones a little bit differently than the ones on my forehead, and I honestly think they look a little bit better than the ones on my forehead. So what I had done with those was I had actually left a little space between each scale, and then once I was done shading and contouring them, I carved them out with more concealer. It gives a much cleaner and, I think, more appealing appearance, but because I was really tired and overheated, I decided to skip that. So just for future reference, decide for yourself if you'd like to do that or not. And you can see here, moving forward, that I just do the same movement, same process on the edges of my face, replicating those scales. If you're doing this for a costume party, you could even do this on your shoulders, your neck, etc., just to make it look like your entire body is covered in scales and more mermaid-esque. Then to top it all off, I use the Photofocus setting spray, which is my favorite setting spray. And that's the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you're going to use this for Halloween. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Sinking, oh, sinking ship. Ha! Get it because I'm a mermaid. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a look. Nope. Gotcha. It's a one brand tutorial inspired by the Midnight Mermaid.
Fuck do I show this?
You were scared.
Figured it out.
Here we go.
It's a one brand tutorial inspired by... It's a one brand tutorial inspired by... Why the fuck did I say it like that? Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial. We are not. I am going to. I used a couple products from the... If you guys are interested in... I hate my life. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I got a lot of... I really don't know what the fuck I was doing. If you guys are interested in... hide the hand. To set that, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mattifying Powder. To set that, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mattifying... To set that, I am using the Fuck. Oh god. Oh, you know who wasn't recording that whole time? Fuck my life.